It's Tony season, and I'm wearing an Egyptian woman on my shirt. Stay tuned. I'm Robert.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Toss.
And this is Grizzly Kiki. Woo woo woo. And we're like, ba ba da bum 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 this week.
Speaking of Egyptian women, I met a girl named Aida this week.
Word.
Yeah, craziest woman I've ever met.
Oh.
So, very nice person, but very Looney Tunes.
All right.
Yeah.
What a great connection for Aida.
How was your guys' week?
It was a lot, but
Same.
gratifying, I will say. I didn't think that going into the office would feel as gratifying as it does, but it is also very exhausting.
Very exhausting.
Yeah.
And Gus is making a lot of progress with his training, and I'm really excited to be able to keep him safe while also keeping him in check. If that makes sense.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I'm so excited to see
That's exciting.
the next steps in doggy school for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to go up that like ladder thing. Like we use the thing that they have the dogs climb on sometimes. We hadn't done that yet, so it was really exciting to do that whole thing with him. And it seemed like at a certain point he got really into it. Like he was real hesitant at first, but then he started to get into like the game element of it, and I think he really liked it. And he has the zoomies right now apparently. So.
He just zoomed right across the sofa behind you, and he's making a mess in the bedroom.
Great,
right
love
now.
it. Love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
How about you, Toss?
I've had a very hectic week, and work has been crazy. I'm working on this drag race event right now, and it's like people think that producing a drag show is easy. It's not easy at all. There's so much logistics that goes behind it, and egos and scheduling and all of that. But it's coming together nicely. It's gonna happen in Chicago in the fall, which is a great time in Chicago. I can't share yet who's gonna be there, just to make sure that it still goes through.
But I can. Mystique Summers Madison will be there because she is from Chicago.
Yes, and it's her and the Vixen, the most chaotic lineup ever.
Great. I wasn't interested in poking any bears this week, but you go right ahead.
That has been crazy. And then I just got back from Connecticut. It was my nephew's high school graduation party, which is crazy to me because I remember him being like 5 years old, like just the other day, and he's going to SUNY Stony Brook in the fall. So it's insane to me. He got a full ride to Stony Brook, which is very smarty pants of him. But the party was fun, but I had a feeling that most of the people there were Republicans, but they're very like polite and like trying not to be very political. This one person walks in the middle of the event with a volunteer shirt that says "Volunteer, Make America Great Again." I was like, "Oh wow!"
No.
Yikes. Well.
Yeah.
They do exist.
They do. And it was like, not even like he was like a successful looking, he was definitely like 20 years old. And it's like, this little kid is like flaunting his, like most of the ones today too. I was like, okay. But No one really talked to him during the parties.
Oh, that's
So
terrible.
yeah,
But he was
so
there.
he was there being loud and proud and obnoxious.
And he was your nephew's friend?
No, no.
So then why was he there?
He was, I think, the little brother of someone that my brother-in-law went to college with.
Oh, so
So,
your brother-in-law probably told him to wear that shirt. Or something.
maybe, probably. No one else, everyone else of their friends didn't wear anything like that. So I think he chose to do it himself. So
Oh,
I'm just saying not to be whatever hoity-toity about it, but I don't feel like wearing any volunteer shirt is necessarily appropriate for going to a
oh
party,
yeah. Yeah.
mm,
It would be like
unless
I'm
it's a
wearing
casual party.
like if I'd be wearing like a volunteer like Democrat shirt. I wouldn't do that at a party, especially like a party like that.
It's just like it's a weird
It's
thing,
tacky. Just saying,
but
mm-hmm.
it's tacky.
but it also feels pointed a little bit,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Because it's like, I dare you to say something about my volunteer shirt. I volunteered to help this Egyptian woman start her business. You know, I volunteered.
Mhm.
I don't know why we lost Daniel.
I
Gus
don't
Gus had
know.
a piece of the vacuum in his mouth.
Oh my God, how did that happen?
But
Mm.
my other sister was giving him dirty looks the entire party as like work.
Wow. I mean,
uh,
messy.
messy.
Like keep that for I don't know.
So
I don't
my
know what. I
sister
don't know
was
where it's appropriate.
my sister was making sarcastic, pointed remarks. She's like, "Oh, we better be careful of ice coming." It's like, "Oh,"
Oops. Oopsies.
whenever he walked by.
Yikes. She better work though. I like that. Make him uncomfortable.
Uh,
Make America uncomfortable again.
yes, love it.
They already
Love
are.
it. So that
Ugh.
was like tiring of the end of the week. And then also, I fell this week, which is another dramatic thing.
Oh
Like,
no.
and I don't mean like fell like tripped. I fell like scraped both my kneecaps and like my hand. See,
Oh my
Oh my
God.
god.
and that's just the little one. You don't even want to see
God.
the legs. Oh my god. So I was running. I overslept and was rushing to work, and then I fell on the steps, like going up the steps of like the subway station.
Oh. Oh my
So it
God.
Oh
was
my
very
god.
painful, and like I didn't notice anything. I was like, oh, it's fine. I just had to like get to work, and then I was like, oh, I'm in pain. So I went to the bathroom, and both my legs were like completely scraped. I was like, ugh.
Oof.
Ooh.
So yes, it's been quite a week, and they're still healing. Um, how was your week, Daniel?
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Sorry, I just okay, he's gone. Sorry, I just like Gus had a piece of our vacuum cleaner in his mouth because it was like drying, so I had to
Mhm.
get him away from that stuff. My week was a lot. I've been at my new job a month now, and we're making so many changes that it can get a little overwhelming sometimes. But it's been good. Yeah, it's kind of like I fell back into literally my old job, so it hasn't been too complicated. It's just kind of getting used to a few fine details, but I'm really enjoying it. I decorated my office this week with artwork from the collection. Um, so yeah, I'm having a great time.
That's
But
great.
but it's very busy. It's kind of draining sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I think all of us are feeling right
Yeah.
now. But it's Pride Month. Happy
Yes.
Woo!
Pride.
Happy Pride.
Um,
I wanted to talk about Drag Race really quickly because,
Ooh, that was the most delicious episode of the season so far.
and I don't even want to talk about it for the reason you probably think I want to talk about it. You probably think I want to talk about Mistress or something related
No,
to
I want to
the
talk about
chaos.
NPB Fag, the icon that she is.
I want to talk about Lydia Butthole Collins saying when she turns the Kerner, the fact that no one gave her flowers for turns the Kerner, like what happened?
It's a crime.
How did we fail her in this way? How did
Oh
we
my
fail
god.
her in this way? How dare we? Yeah, Drag Race was good this week.
It
Yeah.
was really good. It was the most chaotic episode I've seen in a long time, and I
Mhm.
loved it. And I
Yeah.
also like, I love, like, I'm so glad Nicole is getting her flowers for the crazy queen that she is. And it's like, what I love is that she is shameless. Like, we're not shameless. It's like she is like, she has no filter, but not in the way that Mistress does. It's like she, to me, is like, she has no energy for like these children, and I love that.
Mhm.
Number one, and I love that she's like so secure in herself, even though her drag is not as polished as like queens today. But who cares? Because she sells it so well.
Mhm.
Because she's so confident in it, and I love that.
She also does different drag. She's from a different time. Like it's
Yeah.
a different perspective.
Oh
So I think it's unfair to have her compete against these girls. I think if you're gonna have Nicole compete against other girls, it needs to be, it needs to be like Ginger Minj. I feel like they should have restructured some of
oh
these
yeah,
brackets because
Yeah,
I
oh
I
feel like
feel like that.
there's this bracket in particular is way too talent heavy, and I feel like they needed to take a few people and maybe add it to bracket one. Not to be too shady to
mm-hmm.
bracket one, but there were a couple of
Mhm.
duds in bracket one that could have
Oh
been
yeah.
shifted around.
And
Yeah.
same with
Um,
bracket
yeah,
3 from what I've seen. Some of those should went to bracket 2, and then maybe like Nicole and Phoenix could have been in bracket 3 with Ginger. But
maybe,
Maybe.
but like
maybe.
give her a fair fight. You know what I mean? Give her a queen that kind of does what she does.
Yeah.
Like because she's about honesty. Mistress is about confusion.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they think they're playing the same game. Only I don't think Nicole has experience with the game that Mistress is playing.
Yeah.
So
Nicole wants to play like a straight, like makes sense type of competition, and I feel like because she came from season 2 and hasn't been back since.
And she's
But as
never
she
been on it.
said,
Yeah.
she's never stopped working, and I think that that's like compared to some girls who were on maybe 5, 6 seasons ago and they kind of fall off. The fact that she's constantly been booked, that says a lot. So I think she's actually like holding up pretty well against these other girls. With that being said, but I feel like on the earlier seasons, strategizing wasn't as important.
Oh
It kind of
yeah.
wasn't even an option. So Mistress is coming with all of these new tricks and maneuvers, which I also think are really fun to see, and they make great TV. And even though people are like annoyed at her, but like it's TV, it's
Oh yeah.
television, and like honestly, like you have to catch up, and that I think may be what Nicole
Yeah.
Page Brooks's downfall is that she's not strategizing, but I think she's doing great too.
Oh, she's
she's
doing.
not.
I think she's not doing as good as she could be in the competition
Yeah.
for like but she, I think, is getting like the love and attention of the fandom right now, which is great. Similar to like Corey King. He was
Hmm.
not good in the season, but he's really well enjoyed post show and like online. Like what all I've seen is people like these kids today who like never watched season 2 when it first aired are like in love with Nicole Page Brooks. and Nicole's taking full advantage of it with her merch line right now.
Good. She
Which
should.
I love because like NPBFAG is now like the acronym. So
Wow.
I don't know where everyone's been. That's been the acronym.
yeah,
I
That
didn't know
that
until
became
recently.
I think it was Sloppy Seconds made a thing about it a while back, and it's like maybe it was a different podcast. I don't remember. There was some podcast that made a big deal about the acronym and being like, what does it mean? And then they kind of cleared it up, and it was like, oh, this has been a thing for a while. It's just people aren't really. I don't know. People weren't hip to it until now, and I'm
oh
glad that
yeah,
she's capitalizing on it. And what
I,
I wanted to say, I actually wanted to walk back my comment about Mistress because I forget that Mistress was basically brought up by pageant queens, very similar to Nicole. So they are playing the same game. I think Nicole just doesn't enjoy being around stunt queens, which is
no,
weird
she does
Mm,
not. Like
because the stunt is like it's like if a drag queen could juggle, it would be a stunt.
mhm.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that is what pulling a stunt is. It's
I
juggling.
oh yeah, I think her and Carrie are just mad because they fell for it. And that's like why they're the
I
egg.
mean, they really had these
Carrie
like bamboozled looks on their faces last week. It was kind of
Ca-
hilarious.
Carrie needs to be mad at herself, no one else, because she had nothing. She was not part of the stunt because the person who tricked her was quiet the whole time.
Oh
If
yeah, and
Mistress
like
if Mistress hadn't been there, Georges would not have been able to pull that off. I'm convinced.
the thing is, Mistress did it first, and then Carrie still gave it to George. I was like, what are you doing? You just saw Mistress Bamboozle Nicole. I'm like, you're not. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna continue this line.
And then she was so
But
nice to them. She was so nice to them in the roast battle.
yeah, or she's just not that good at roast.
Could be. From what I've heard, a lot of the girls' verses were written before they got there. So
Oh yeah, but no, I remember like when I was talking to like all of like people our age who have been watching Drag Race forever, and like they were like they're like, oh my god, I'm so excited for Nicole Rocks. Like everyone kept saying that, even before the season started, just because like that's how iconic she's become, like over the years, and like she had 2 episodes, which is like the funniest part to me.
Yeah, I didn't remember that she went home only
But
like
she
second on her
But like
season.
you said, she's never stopped working, and that's
Mm-mm.
why people like our age, not Gen Zers, like just know like her legacy in like the
Mhm.
community. So
Yeah.
how dare you say people our age? No.
I
I don't know that I would necessarily identify as a Nicole Page Brooks fan. I'm not a hater, but I don't know that I'm a fan. But
Mhm.
I will say, and I think the word iconic is being thrown around a little too much for her right now. Let's everybody calm down. She has like some great sound bites. She used to do acrylics on her toes, which sure, sure. If you showed up to a club in full drag with acrylics on your toes, that would kind of make you iconic, maybe. But I think that
I love just
we're.
like in her mind, she thought it'd be a great idea to show the innards of a cactus. I was like,
I thought it was
this
genius. I
is
actually thought it was genius.
It was such a weird idea,
The
but
execution
like
was not great.
no,
no.
no, they were not thinking like that dress was not made for a reveal, even though it was a reveal. It was a reveal outfit.
And that was
No,
the most glam she's ever been so far.
and I feel like a true pageant queen would know that you wouldn't put little like stones or whatever, like something that could catch the fabric that you're revealing from as you're pulling it off. She had little like I don't know. She had like things like there was like hardware on her body
They
that
look like little
it was not
insects
stones.
or
Yeah, they look
something.
like little horses or something. It was
Yeah,
like there's all this weird stuff on here, and it's catching the fabric that you're trying to remove to do the reveal, and it's like this is not how this works. Like you should be familiar with these stunts. What?
Yeah.
They taught this.
yeah.
They taught this in the Paleolithic age, in the drag that we did back then.
In her
You know?
age. Yeah.
Right.
And that dress is so pretty. It didn't need it. You know, like it would have been, I think, great the way it was, and then you could like see the back a little more as she was walking away. But I
I
don't know.
think this bracket was put together primarily for the drama because they knew this would be the most dramatic
Mhm.
bracket so far. More so than the first bracket because it had Tina and Mistress and Nicole
Mhm.
in it.
Don't you feel like Mistress in any bracket would have drama because that's what she's after?
Oh, of course. But like we know about like the Tina and Mistress drama already before they came on the show.
I
think
didn't know
it's
about
silly
that.
that it's drama when it's like she posted a photo of Tina Burner. That's all she did.
It's drama to Tina. It's in Tina's head. It's drama.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, it's a good season so far. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's probably one of the better All Stars in a while, actually, so far.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Fair
I
enough.
yeah. I mean, that's a low bar, but
Ooh.
Well,
Yikes.
I don't
They're
know.
muy spicy.
No, for real. Like in my opinion, like it hasn't been as entertaining since like season 6 or 4, maybe.
Of All Stars?
I did not find season 8 entertaining. I did not find the Candy season entertaining.
what about season 7, the all-winner season?
Oh, of course. I don't
My
count
love.
that as a season.
Freedom.
That's a special edition. That wasn't a competition.
No, it's not a special edition. They threw it in there like it was a regular season. Don't play games with the girls.
That was a special edition.
All right. All right, special edition. I would like to go to the Broadway if we can.
The Broadway.
We are celebrating Broadway this week in honor of the Tonys coming up. And so I want us to talk about our favorite shows, but let's get the mess out of the way first. Okay, so the burning question on my mind. I want to know Broadway show you hated, Broadway show you walked out of, and your least favorite show tune.
Okay.
In that order.
I thought you were gonna totally ask something totally different.
Oh, now I want to. What did you think my question was going to be?
What I thought of the recent Broadway drama circulating right now between.
Oh no.
I don't care. I don't listen, Patty. Listen, I don't care. I don't care what you think. You have proven time and time again that you're not here to be part of, like, maybe you're union, but you're not acting like you're united with your fellow Broadway actors. Okay? So, and I'm not even, and this doesn't even have anything to do with her shading Madonna for playing Evita, which, like, you had no business doing that. I get it. Maybe you were jealous, whatever. Whatever with your fucking Bob. Calm down and stay out of the press. If you're retired, retire. Literally retire. Okay, baby? Retire. Lay back.
I love that the Broadway community shamed her into an apology.
It's stupid because it's not genuine. That's how she felt, and she was messy for sharing her opinion.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Yeah. And what I would like is I'd like for her to do a limited run show and for someone to show up every night to film her, to have their phone go off in the middle of it, to be texting through it. Like I want you to open the book of Broadway infractions, and I want you to go down the list and just example, please.
Stand outside, be like, you're loud.
Prepare her. Prepare her for what is surely to be her future in hell. Thank you.
Wow.
But what? Now that I went into it, even though I wasn't going to, what do you think of the drama?
I just love the class that Audra gave. She totally gave it. I don't know her. It's just like, let's keep it moving. She's like, I am not gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
She probably didn't even know also, but she was just like the perfect comment was like, I haven't spoken to this woman in 11 years.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love
Mhm.
it.
She is the
mean-
Santino Rice of the Broadway community, and no one wants to hear from her, baby.
Yikes.
No, thank you. So okay, let's start with the Broadway show you walked out of. I know for a fact that Toss and we walked out of a show. I don't know if you remember it. Once upon a time, we went to see Mary Poppins.
Yes, I was gonna say walked out of Mary Poppins midway just because it was too different. I came in really just wanting a recreation of the Disney show, and it was a little too
Same.
book heavy for me. And the songs weren't as good. That was like also the issue. So I got
And-
very bored.
And the scary number where the toys came to life, didn't love that. They were very menacing toward the children. Not
Yeah.
not the Banks children. No. That's Mary Poppins' job. Do you? I've always felt this way. I've always regretted that we left at intermission because we didn't get to see her fly at the end. Do you
Oh,
do you
yeah.
have any regrets about that?
Yes, a little bit, but like I watched it on YouTube. It was like, oh, it's fine. Okay.
Yes. It's funny how it's a lot like Mary Poppins catching a bus. It's like, okay, bye. See, bye. It's very, it's like her bus came and she had to go.
I think that came out around the same time where everyone was trying to outdo Wicked, wasn't it? Like, what year did Mary Poppins?
It would have been because it would have been after graduation. Because
Yeah.
remember, we were using. I don't know if you remember this, but we were using our student IDs to continue to get the program they had where it was like $25 tickets for students. Well, we were doing that a lot, and then I lost my wallet at some point, like shortly after that, and that was the end of me using my student discount. So
Yeah.
and we
it
went
was like,
to Bubba Gump Shrimp. I don't know if you remember
oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah.
When we left, we walked out, and we're very happy to be at Bubba Gump Shrimp and not in Act 2 of Mary Poppins.
Yeah, it was at that time all of like the staging of Broadway was trying to like outdo one another because like Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark came out around that time too, and it was like Spider-Man flying and Green Goblin flying, so everyone's like, we gotta out Wicked.
If there's a show that I regret not seeing, it's Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see that slop, and watching the bootlegs on YouTube, just not the same. But anyway.
Daniel,
Wow.
have you ever walked out of any?
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel.
We walked out of Hades Town a few years ago,
Oh,
right?
that's
at intermission.
right.
Everybody I've told this to is like, "How could you?" And I'm just like, I hated it.
My favorite adulthood thing is to say we walked out of Hades Town as someone's in the middle of being like, and the story was amazing and the singing was incredible and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh yeah, well we walked out at intermission. They're all like,
I mean, our seats were uncomfortable. We weren't seated together. It was just like an uncomfortable like setting. But more than that, like, because Broadway is never comfortable. I just thought that it was like a Zatarans commercial, and I couldn't. Which is apparently is a thing I've said because one of my coworkers said I said that. So I said it. It just I didn't like anything about it. Like not a single thing. It just and that has never happened with any
so
any
interesting.
musical I've gone to see. It just like it felt unnecessary.
Are you guys Ani DeFranco fans?
no,
Maybe
not
Maybe
really.
that's
No.
part of it. Yeah.
The other thing is Reeve Carney was in it. Speaking of Spider-Man,
Oof.
Reeve Carney was in it when we saw it, and when he opened his mouth to sing for the first time in the show, I thought it was a joke. I looked around and was like, "Are we not laughing? Are we not laughing at this voice? This voice is comical. Like, what?
Yeah,
I didn't get it."
it boggles me that Reeves stayed in that show for so long because like
Mhm.
it was Ava and then the older man, I forget his name, were the best things about the show. And Peter Page. But like Reeve being like the lead of the show was just a really bad casting.
And like
Uh
we should have enjoyed ourselves. I want to say Lilius White was in it when we saw it. Like we
Mhm.
should have enjoyed ourselves, but
yeah.
it just wasn't. It wasn't doing it for me. And added onto that, these were lottery tickets, right? And so typically we are seated next to each other. For whatever reason, this time we were seated like one in front of the other. And so
Oh.
that added to the discomfort of the show is that like we weren't
Oh.
like I was sitting next to a stranger in these really uncomfortable seats that were like cutting off the circulation to the rest of my body. It just like
Why
there
would they
was
give you 2 6 seats like that?
so if you
That's
read the fine print when you sign up for the lottery, they tell you your tickets may be separated. This is
oh.
the first time it's ever happened to
Yeah.
me, but you know, they warn you every time they warn you.
Yeah.
I think that it's funny because what's happening now as I'm getting older is that so Cowboy Carter just came through New Jersey recently. We did not go. And the reason we didn't go is because we didn't feel like being uncomfortable. It just didn't feel like a good like listening. Beyonce has a beautiful voice. The show is phenomenal and amazing, and I would love to go see it in a movie theater one day.
Oh
But
yeah.
the discomfort that I'm going to feel sitting in a freezing cold MetLife Stadium to watch Beyonce, it's not worth the trade-off
No.
of being able to see Beyonce live.
I just
Just
watched the
and
whole
I
show on YouTube and I enjoyed it just fine on YouTube.
Mhm. Yep.
and it's amazing.
It was amazing.
Mhm.
It's
Uh,
absolutely amazing.
I wasn't sure at first, actually, for like the first 30 minutes of that show because it's very projection heavy. Like
Mhm.
these interludes are probably like the longest interludes I've seen in a while, but like the the set list is incredible. I loved the set list and I loved how long she performed for,
True.
even if like a lot of it was interlude, but she sang a lot.
Mhm.
So,
We have to get back to Broadway, but what did you think of her
yes.
reheating her nachos with the Renaissance segment?
I didn't get to see Renaissance, so I enjoyed it very much. What did you guys think?
I kind
Good.
of I've
Did,
never seen an artist do this before, and I'm intrigued. I want to see other people do it. Because I like the way she did it. Like she basically took that moment from the Renaissance tour and ran it through the Cowboy Carter lens, and I thought that was really fun.
yeah,
Like the fact that she gave us almost like an alternative cut to what would have been the
yeah.
Renaissance tour.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
I loved the voguing at the end. I loved Honey's moment, Honey Balenciaga's moment. I'm excited to see Honey on the Mayhem Ball.
Is
So,
she going to be there too?
yeah, she talked about it. She says
I
she's part.
She talked about being on Mayhem, or she talked about like, oh, you'll see me soon.
I remember that she had said that she was working with Gaga. So maybe she
Oh,
said you'll see me soon, but like people are assuming she'll be on the Mayhem Ball, but maybe not.
After the after the Abracadabra video came out, she said, "You'll see me real soon," and everyone assumed it was with Gaga. But then she was on the Cowboy Carter tour,
Mhm.
Mm,
so
I
Yeah.
mean,
maybe she'll be on both. That would be great.
yeah,
That would be
that would
amazing.
be
But
great.
Maybe
Yeah,
but
there's
I
another
think
music video coming.
yeah, maybe
maybe
she'll be in Garden of Eden.
I would love a
Fingers
Garden of Eden
crossed.
music video. Okay, we have to get back to Broadway. Okay,
Wait, can I? No, I shouldn't say it.
what?
The other musicals we've walked out of, or is that rude?
Oh, it's only one other one, right?
No, it's 2 others.
No. Well, you shouldn't say it. Okay,
I'm not gonna say it,
don't say okay because they were both high school productions.
but I'm not gonna say where. I won't say
Okay,
where.
don't say where. Don't say where. Don't say
Okay,
where. Fine,
so
fine, fine, fine.
and it's terrible. We really like going to the high school productions in our area because they're really good and fun.
And because
Um,
I was part of them when I was in high
yeah,
school, and now I live near where I grew up, so I'm
yeah,
kind of like I'm supporting what the community supported when I
yeah.
was in high school.
But I think it was like last year or the year before we went to see Little Shop, and it was really bad. And we walked out at intermission, and this year we went to see Chicago Junior, and
The high school
then
edition. There's
the
a
high
there's a
school. Oh,
junior.
it's a high
There's a
school.
junior, but it's not. It's very different.
There's a
Junior's
junior.
very.
Okay, and the only
The
reason
cell
I
block
bring this
tango.
up,
The cell
no,
block tango has very different lyrics. Yes. Oh, believe me, it
I
exists.
I only bring it
Capitalism.
up
Capitalism
because
made it happen, baby.
no, because the thing is, like, I feel like the kids were uncomfortable doing this material. I think that it's not like I'm for like all access to art and everything, but you can't expect it, it. I think it's almost impossible to adapt a musical that's about, sex and murder and alcohol and
Ooh.
all of that, right? To adapt it so that it's palatable and appropriate for minors, right? Like I just think that it
And
doesn't work.
entertaining.
And entertaining. And also, unless you're doing this at a performing arts high school in the dance program, you are asking these children to do Fosse? And it's like, and other musicals, I think you can kind of like fake it till you make it, but not with a Fosse choreographed musical. Like they're the precision, they just can't do it. And so it was a little sad because we had seen these kids do an amazing production of Mamma Mia, and it was flawless. And this just felt like they were really uncomfortable. Like there's moves that you could tell that like the teenage girls just were not like having a great time doing. They were dressed, like skimpy, and I'm sure that they also were not comfortable with that because you could read it on their faces. So that's the only reason I bring it up, is because it wasn't just that it wasn't great, it's that you could feel how uncomfortable the kids were, and that I did not like. Like, when we saw Mamma Mia, all the kids seemed really like exuberant and into it and proud to do this, and that did not come across with these kids. And maybe I'm like reading it wrong, but it made me uncomfortable. I didn't really care for it.
No, high school is an awkward time. You don't tell kids, you don't give them these like tight, skimpy costumes and then are like, okay, go up on stage and do this thing that you kind of maybe don't understand. Like
No.
I could tell from pretty much everyone in the cell block tango that they didn't understand the like the motivation behind what they're saying. They were
Mhm.
just saying it because it was written on a script and it was handed to them and then they highlighted it with their yellow highlighter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, it's unfortunate because like these kids are good, they're talented, and
Yep.
you're forcing them to do this thing that makes them uncomfortable, and that's not the point of this medium. That's just not the point of it.
No.
Like we were all up there doing this because we loved it, because it made us feel
Mhm.
comfortable, it made us feel like alive. And these poor
Yeah.
kids were just super uncomfortable. I hated it. I hated every second of it. And the
Yeah.
other production, the little shop that we went to see, made me want to be a high school drama teacher because it was so bad that I was like, I want to go and help these kids. Like I want to,
That'd be a fun job.
oh my God, to basically be Cam from Modern Family for a living. Like sign me up. I would love I would love to be a high school drama teacher, but I don't know. I feel like those kids are they're gonna wear me down. That's
Ah,
plain and simple. But I would love to be fostering creativity at that level, and to be giving the kids the opportunity to breathe. Because that was the other thing about Chicago specifically. The kids were rushing through all of their lines and all of their numbers, and they weren't really taking a second. And that's where we could tell the discomfort was really there. They weren't taking a second to just like to soak it in, to really enjoy the excitement of what was happening within the number that they were doing. And that is just, I don't know. I remember in high school, like when we were in rehearsal, I would be looking at my classmates doing their, because I was very rarely like in a like a leading role. I think I got a lead my senior year, and it was that was in like a straight play, not even a musical. And I could feel their confidence, and it was inspiring to me. And
mhm.
so to see these kids so uncomfortable, it made me sad because I'm sure it has a ripple effect, especially for the younger, like the like lower classmen or whatever that are
Mhm.
starting to do this, and want to continue doing it if they're not having a great time, they might not come back, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Broadway again. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
So I said show you walked out of. Did you have another show you walked out of, Toss? Do you want to share?
I don't remember any others. I vividly remember Mary Poppins walking out of. I'm
Broadway
sure
show.
there's other ones.
Okay, not that you walked out of, but a Broadway show you hated.
Okay. Oh. Where do I start?
Oh no. Well,
Uh,
when I said that, what was the first one that came to mind?
the- a Broadway show that I did not like.
Because I have one.
I saw it wasn't a musical, it was a play.
Mm-hmm.
Pacey from Dawson's Creek was in it.
Oh,
It
Joshua
was
Jackson.
Joshua Jackson. It was the play version of that movie that Marlee Matlin won an Oscar for. It was just not good, and I
My
forget.
Left Foot? What was it called?
No,
I don't remember
not My
what
Left
it's
Foot.
called. What was it called? I don't remember. Oh, Children of a Lesser God? Is that that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I love that movie. I love her performance in that movie.
Where did that come from? Where did that title come from? Like, sorry.
It's about a deaf woman. So.
No, I'm saying where did it come from within my brain?
Oh, yeah, and it was just really bad, the play version. That was one that I wanted to walk out. I saw it with my friend, and we were both like, the acting is really bad.
Oof.
Everyone was bad in it, acting wise, and like the directing was, and I think it was because the direction was really bad.
Yikes.
Specifically. So that
Daniel,
one
do you
came
have
to
one?
mind. Yeah.
I mean, other than Hadestown, I don't know.
So you hate Hadestown?
I didn't enjoy it. No, I didn't like it from like maybe 2 songs in. I didn't connect with it at all. Like not like I didn't. I'm not even like let's get better seats and go see it. No, I just don't care.
I would give it another chance.
That's really terrible. I'm like so like digging my heels in about this.
The only song that I will admit, the only song that I remember from that show is the one where the lights go like that.
Same.
That's the only song I remember from the show.
Because that was unique, I thought. Like who has like regular old just like overhead lighting, and they're just like out into the audience, like throwing it at you. It's insane.
Also, I
don't think there's anything else that I've hated really. I mean, maybe there's some I wasn't too keen on, but not anything.
I have
like
two.
That.
I have two. Jesus Christ Superstar. I remember my high school. Yeah, my high school took us to a production of it in Philly somewhere, and I thought it was awful, and I couldn't wait to leave. Couldn't wait.
Okay.
And then the second one was Kiss Me Kate. Again, my high school took us to see the Broadway production of Kiss Me Kate, and I was like, what is this nonsense? What is this garbage? Get me out of here.
Jesus Christ Superstar is one of my favorite Andrew Lloyd Webber shows.
Really?
I've seen 3 different productions of Jesus on Broadway.
Oh, jeez.
So, given the story I just told you, if there was a version of Jesus, because there's a lot of them that have been recorded. If there's a version of like a recorded version that I should go to get a better idea of what the show is like, because I might have just seen a bad production, which one would you recommend?
The one with this actor named Ramin Karimloo. He's currently in Penzance with Jinx Monsoon. He did a Jesus Christ Superstar a few years back, and it was really good. I thought it was really good, but also like I'm very picky with my Andrew Lloyd Webber shows. I don't like most of his shows, but I like Jesus Christ. Like I couldn't finish watching Cats. That's how much I dislike Cats.
But it's Cats.
The movie version. I couldn't finish watching it.
It goes double for the movie version. Come on. At least in the original, there's the cringe factor, like in
I
the stage version.
I also find Sunset Boulevard overrated. I saw the show, the recent one, and I didn't hate it, but I found it overrated. Like everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing on Broadway right now." And just never.
I don't love when people do that. When they're like, "Oh, this is phenomenal. You have to see so and so. They smolder in every scene they're in." And it's like, you sound like propaganda.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of shows like they pay off critics. To be honest, a lot of movies do the same thing.
Mhm.
But what I
Phantom was
like.
Lloyd Webber, right?
Oh, Phantom's good. Phantom's a
Yeah.
good show. What I liked about Jesus Christ Superstar is not the Jesus of it. I just like rock musicals in general. So I think that was the bias for me. Because, like, I love, like, Hair. I love Rent. I love Jesus Christ. But yeah, that would probably be. Don't watch the one that's with John. What's his name?
John Cougar Mellencamp.
John Legend. Don't watch
Oh,
that.
John
That-
Legend.
They had John Legend do like the NBC version of Jesus
Oh
Christ,
no.
the aired Easter version of it.
Oh,
It was
okay.
him and Sarah Bareilles. Sarah Bareilles played Mary Magdalene.
Oh, yeah. I don't know enough about the show to be able to
I thought
understand whether that
Sarah
was
was very good.
weird or not.
John Legend, I don't think was right for that role.
I only remember that song from the show that sounds kind of like Killa.
Which
Wow,
one?
wow, 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 wow. There's some song that sounds exactly like that from Jesus Christ
You
Superstar.
mean the opening song, that dun 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 dun, dun that one?
Sure.
Kiss Me Kate I do not enjoy, so I agree with you. It's such a
Too Darn
boring
Hot was
show.
lovely. Too Darn Hot was lovely, and it's worth for those wanting to walk out of a musical. Don't walk out of Kiss Me Kate because Too Darn Hot happens right after intermission. So if you're gonna walk out after Too Darn Hot.
Daniel,
Okay.
what about you?
Oh, other than Hades Hat, I don't think there are any that I really
Okay.
dislike all that much.
What about a show tune that you can't stand?
That I can't stand. Oh,
Well, I wanted to go to Daniel first since he didn't have
go,
a
Daniel. Yeah, you do
hated.
Oh God, do I hate any? No, I don't think so. Because I feel like I just don't. They don't like bug me because I'm really picky. But like, if I like a show, I like everything in that show. Like, I may not like. There are some I may not go back to, like when I'm just listening to them. But I don't know if there's anything I really hate. I feel like I don't know. There's something out there for everybody. I know that sounds very kumbaya, but I don't think I have enough opinions about Broadway. Actually,
I can't stand Cats, like I've said before. I just don't enjoy the show.
Is there a specific number in the show that really grinds your gears?
All of them. I don't even like Memory.
Okay.
Like, I don't like that
Yeah.
show. And it's so funny to me how much people have, like, loved that show. And I think it's, like, no, he's had worse shows. Okay. But, like, I think that's up there. Like, I didn't see Love Never Dies, but I listened to it. I was like, oh, this is terrible. That was the sequel to Phantom of the Opera.
Right.
Yeah.
Gus.
What about you, Rob? What show can't you stand?
It's not a show that I can't stand. We're supposed to be saying songs like show tunes that we don't like.
Oh, I thought it was a show. Okay.
No. The closest I can come to is a song that makes me feel cringe, and it's He Made Me a Mixtape from Avenue Q.
Oh,
That song makes me feel like gross.
yeah.
And I don't know why it is, but that was the first one to come to mind. But other than that, I don't think it's interesting how I don't, not even from Jesus Christ Superstar, there was nothing in that I'm like, oh, I hate that. I feel like in the right context, I could learn to enjoy all of that music. But I don't know. It's
Uh,
weird because I have like if you were to give me an artist like Lady Gaga, for example, and ask me for a song of hers that is popular but I don't really care for, my answer would be Poker Face, like that. Because,
mhm.
but would I not sing along to it at a concert? No, of course not. Of course I would sing along. Like, we're here to enjoy, you know?
Yeah,
So do I really
yeah.
hate it? Maybe not. Um, let's get off the hate train and get on the love train. Um, let's let's go around and give three, like our top three Broadway musicals, starting with the third one, which I'm gonna say mine is Fame the musical. They did it
Mm,
at my high school
great one.
sophomore year. Hmm.
Great one. That's a great one.
Oh, you like it? Oh, you like
Yeah,
it?
I love Fame.
They did it
I
at my high school my sophomore year. I quit the show and then I went and saw it and I regretted quitting it and I saw it all three of the nights that they did it. Yeah, I love it. And there is a filmed production of it from the West End that is not good. So don't base your judgments on that.
Hmm.
Next.
my third favorite of all time is Sound of Music.
Really?
Yeah, I love that musical. I don't care how dated it is. I don't care how specific it is to a certain amount of time. I love Rodgers and Hammerstein number one because it's like to me I divide musicals by classic and like modern, and my favorite classic is uh Sound of Music. Up
Yeah.
there, like if it would be close to Sound of Music, if I had to choose another classic show that I loved, which would probably be like it wouldn't be my second favorite. It would probably be like third or fourth. If it would be tied with it would be West Side Story. I love West
Oh,
Side
wow.
Story. Yeah.
Hmm.
My other two are modern, and we'll get to that.
All
So, but
right.
I really
Wow.
love that. I love Sound of Music just because, like, one, I love Julie Andrews. Uh, like I think that musical is her greatest work. Like Mary Poppins is very high too, but like I think Sound of Music is her greatest work. And I also love like I mean like there's a reason Gaga chose that show to like perform as well. It was because it was like a Julie Andrews thing, right? Was it? Or was it like a Broadway like tribute? I forget. But like a lot of musical theater people love that show. Like
Huh.
classic musical theater people.
I think it was like a anniversary of The Sound of Music potentially, but I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah.
but
Have you seen Victor Victoria?
yes. Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
I love that show too. But like when you think of Julie Andrews, a lot of people automatically say Sound of Music first and then
Mm.
Mary Poppins and Victor
Hmm.
Victoria. Um
I
my
just think
favorite
Victor Victoria was her stepping so far out of her comfort
Oh
zone that
yeah.
it was like, to me, that's my favorite. I mean, other than Mary Poppins, because I think you and I both have a sweet spot for Mary
My
Poppins.
favorite Sound of Music song is The Lonely Coder.
Oh God. I
uh,
forgot that there were songs. There are songs in The Sound of Music that I can't stand. So
like The
there you
Lonely
go.
Coder.
Like Doe a Deer, whatever that song is called,
Oh, it's such a fun show.
or when they're saying goodnight. I've never had fun watching the movie, so I love that you love it, but she's not for me.
What about you, Daniel?
My third favorite, I get it's Aida,
Oh,
the Elton
so
John,
good.
Tim Rice one. I
So
really
good.
love the music for it. I love the staging. It just really
Yes.
it was one of the first shows I saw on Broadway that like really captivated me. I mean, the Disney ones are pretty good, although I've only ever seen Aida and Beauty and the Beast, which like considering there's a cartoon of Beauty and the Beast and Aida's based on an opera, they're two very different things, but just the quality of the production was really great. So yeah, I really like it a lot.
It's
Yeah.
time for a revival. It's
I've been
time.
saying that it would be so nice to see
Like,
what they could do today
they've been working on
with
it,
it.
like a European, it's been
Hmm.
in the Netherlands. They've been
Yeah.
working on it for a while, but they keep having to like adjust it, so it's like not
Mm.
ready for consumption, right?
Ooh, let's do favorite dream revivals. Just one though. After we're done with this. Okay.
Okay.
Just to get you all ready for it.
Rob, what's your number 2?
Okay, so here's my problem is that I thought of 4 other musicals that I love and I don't know how to put them
Oh
I
my
don't know
god.
how to put them in order. So here's what I'm gonna do for you. Number 2 is a tie between Rent and fuck, what was the other one? There's too many. There's too many. I can't pick. I'm just gonna say Rent. Next.
So Rent's my number 1. Uh,
Oh.
so
Okay, so
I'm
maybe I'll take it off my list then, since it's your number 1, because we'll talk
no,
about it then.
no,
No, so instead I will say, because you said your favorite classical musical was The Sound of Music.
yeah.
Mine is Hello Dolly.
Oh, such a good one.
Because I remember watching it a little bit older and completely falling in love with Barbra Streisand. Like, how could you not?
Did you see the revival a few years back?
No, I did
Was
not.
Who was in that? Wasn't it
Beanie.
Bet? Oh, I thought it was Bet.
Oh wait, that's Funny Girl. I'm thinking of
Yeah.
Funny Girl. It
Oh,
was
you're
it was
thinking of
Bet.
Funny. Yeah.
It was Bet, and then I want to say Bernadette took over at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you saying?
But
Wait,
I
so you
have a
mean Funny
feeling
Girl?
I have a feeling I would not have enjoyed the revival because Barbara was not in it.
Mm.
Because to me, it's kind of like, so Daniel and I just watched Liza with a Z. Daniel had never seen it.
I'd never seen it. I don't know why.
And we
Oh.
were trying to come up with something that was kind of Pride, because we've been watching Pride movies lately,
Mhm.
just to kick off the month. And we couldn't think of something fun to watch while we were waiting to record this. And Liza with a Z is an hour long, and it's one of those things where if you've never even heard of Liza Minnelli, you could watch this, and maybe 30 minutes in, you're gonna check the runtime on what you're watching and be like, oh my god, we've gone through 30 minutes of this footage already. Like, I have been lost in this amazing performance that I'm watching. It's phenomenal. And I felt the same way the first time I watched Hello Dolly. So
Love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What about you, Daniel? What's your number 2?
My number 2. Oh damn. Okay, so I really love My Fair Lady. I have never seen it on Broadway,
So
but
good.
we watched it a lot growing up, and I have a really big soft spot for Audrey Hepburn. Like, really, I love just about everything she ever did. And we've even seen some movies together that I had never seen over the past few years of hers, kind of more dark movies that she did. There's something really beautiful about My Fair Lady, and also like I never really felt like she was as naive as like that character was supposed to be, so I like that she's also she has some control there, I think, and I just like it. It's a beautiful movie to watch, I think. So yeah, that's my number 2.
I agree. It's such a good show.
I love that
love
scene
My
at
Fair
the
Lady.
races, like when they're like mannequins. It's just it's so like I wish I'd seen it on Broadway, and I'm bummed that it hasn't come back since I've been able to see it. So
Pretty Woman is one of my favorite movies, and My Fair Lady reminded me a lot of Pretty Woman when I watched it. Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like a more modern version of My Fair Lady, Pretty Woman, isn't it?
Oh,
I think they said people have said that.
I've never. So My Fair Lady is an adaptation of Pygmalion. I've never heard Pygmalion talked about in terms of the plot of Pretty Woman, but you're probably right. It's
no, they usually mention My Fair Lady. Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But
For
I
me,
can totally see it.
yeah. My number two is a modern musical. It's Next to Normal.
Hmm.
Ugh. Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that yeah, and that's
Mhm.
saying a lot to make that my number two. I have seen that show at least as many times as I've seen Rent, which is my number one. I've seen Next to Normal with many different people in it. I just that show, the first time I saw it, like Rent, it made me cry. Uh, and like it, it's like it's a rock musical, but like Alice Ripley's voice is so haunting in that show, is what I love about it as well. And like she sells the shit out of that role. Um,
Yes.
it made me fall in love with Aaron Tveit. Um, but he's not even like the best thing about it. It's Alice Ripley, definitely. And what was that kid's name who played the boyfriend of the girl? He's great too. I forget his name, but I saw him recently in Assassins off Broadway, and he was incredible in that. Um, anyway,
I wanna say he was in Pitch Perfect, but I think I regularly confuse him with Ben Platt.
yeah,
Hmm.
So,
I think his
right, that
name.
wasn't Ben Platt.
No, not Ben.
Right. That's what I thought.
But yeah, I love that show. I love like it's just. I feel like we would never have gotten like shows like Dear Evan Hansen if it wasn't for Next to Normal. Next to Normal started that trend of like trauma musicals.
Mhm.
Cause like there's like a very like distinct line from like Next to Normal to Fun Home to Dear Evan Hansen and like all these other shows. And I love the score. It's a show I keep going back to just to listen to the music. Um
Yeah, I saw Next to Normal with you, and I didn't even know what it was about. And so to have like, I had a young person die in my family, and so for that to be the main plot and to not know about it, it was like being shot
yeah,
between the eyes
like
when the scene where the cake comes out at the beginning of the show,
yeah,
right in the eyes.
yeah,
Like that was a beautiful musical. I'm so happy that I got to see it.
yeah. Such a good show. Deserved all its flowers. Alice Ripley was
Yes.
iconic.
How far do you think we are from a movie adaptation? Because they've been trying to make that happen for a while, I feel like.
Oh,
I mean, it'd be weird. It'd be kind of weird. It would almost be like,
I'd
it
be
would almost make
worried.
more sense to do something like what Lars von Trier did with the movie he did with Nicole Kidman,
Y-
Dogville, where they're
y-
filming, like they're basically filming a very pared down, almost like stage play of
Yeah,
something
I'd
instead of
rather
like a
see
movie.
that. I'd be worried that Next to Normal wouldn't translate well as a movie the way Dear Evan Hansen didn't translate well as a movie.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I would love if. I'm also worried about Alice Ripley, like her age now, if she can still do that role. Like,
Hmm.
because I wouldn't want to see it with anyone else except Alice Ripley in that
Really?
role. Maybe Nicole Kidman could do it, but can Nicole sing?
No.
No.
Who said Nicole Kidman was going to do it? No.
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 No. Why would we cast Nicole Kidman to play? No. She can't sing that role. Like, no. No. I don't know who would play that role, but definitely not Nicole Kidman. She did not come to this place for magic. So sorry.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
What's your
um,
number one, Rob?
I don't even know because I just thought of like two other musicals that I had forgotten about. So number one is Dreamgirls, Wicked, and Taboo. Boom.
All
Enjoy.
great
All
shows.
three.
All
Because I love them
iconic.
all. That would
No.
be an amazing show to have a revival. Even though, did it have a revival recently? Am I crazy?
Which one?
Dreamgirls.
No, not yet.
Okay, so Dreamgirls, we need. I don't think we've gotten Dreamgirls on Broadway like since the original.
I
We
don't
haven't gotten a
think so.
revival.
Yeah. The
So
we got The Wiz recently. We haven't gotten Dreamgirls.
yeah, and I didn't see it because I heard bad things.
Yeah, me
Mm,
too. I heard bad things about it.
yeah.
So I heard that it was kind of lazy staging, that it was all projections, but I don't know. I guess like better a bad production of The Wiz than no production, because like for a very long time there was no.
Yeah.
I think the time before that was when Ashanti was in it when we saw it at City Center.
Oh
Where that
yeah.
right? That was with you, where we showed up late.
That's right.
I didn't put together that the show started at 7, not 8, so we showed up at 8 and literally walked in, and then intermission happened after we sat down.
Ooh,
Um, so there's that. Wicked is just, I mean,
so good.
point to a queer person who doesn't look at this show and feel like all of the feelings that they've felt bottled up, channeled through Elphaba. Like who doesn't do that?
The,
And then did I said Taboo, and I totally forgot about In the Heights. Look at me. Taboo is amazing, deserves a revival. Say what you will. That is, for it to be as panned as it was when it came to Broadway, the level of detail in the costuming and the way that the story was adapted for Broadway specifically from the West End version, like they did some magic with that show, and it was amazing to watch. And I think that if Broadway wants to tend toward a spectacle again, this is a very obvious choice for a
is
revival that you could lean on for a
is
spectacle.
there a filmed version of Taboo?
From the West End,
Oh, is there
but
a
it's
movie
very
version
different.
of Taboo?
There's a bootleg of it that I can point you toward,
Oh, I meant
but
a
it is
movie
grainy.
musical of
Oh,
Taboo. No.
no, there's not. No.
Okay.
And then there's In the Heights. In the Heights was a show that I watched when I was living in the Heights. And so I felt a certain like level of pride, and like I was trying to, I guess, like identify with all of the great things that the characters in the musical were talking about when it came to their love of Washington Heights. And I saw it a lot. It's probably the musical I've seen the most because I was dating someone who would regularly, like, who was a dresser on the show, and so he would regularly have tickets on Mondays.
Oh,
And
I
so I
saw In the
basically
Heights a lot too. Oh my god, that was
every Monday for like 2 months was like going to see In the Heights and getting Mexican food after
that was
somewhere on
that's
on
up there
46.
for me. I liked In the Heights so much. I went to a dinner theater version of In the Heights
Oh, really?
in
Oh wow.
Westchester. There was like a Westchester dinner theater version of In the Heights. It was not that good, but it was still enjoyable because I took my friend Erica to see it, and it was her first time seeing. She never saw the Broadway version, and she loved it. She was like, "Oh my god, what is this?" Uh,
I would have been embarrassed at a dinner theater because they would have been able to see me cry, and that's awkward.
Daniel,
Wow.
what's your number one?
So I have two number ones. It's Phantom of the Opera and Cabaret. They're my like two
Ooh.
all-time favorites. I've seen both of them multiple times. I almost cried when I found out that Phantom was closing because it always felt like a musical that just was always going to be there. You know, it felt like a New York attraction. Like I don't know anybody who has seen Phantom that I've told them to go see that musical and not said that they loved it. So I don't know why they closed it to do anything to it. Like I don't think it needed to be restaged. The chandelier was fine.
It was
But
the
I
first
am
musical we saw when they reopened Broadway
yeah,
Yeah.
after they
yeah.
closed for the pandemic.
And it's
Oh,
just the music is so good. Like I listen to that soundtrack a lot as if it's just an album of, regular music. It's just so like it's such a like a rock opera, but so 80s. Um it's just I love it. I love it. I think it's great. I have read that they are doing something new that's supposed to start soon. It's like a kind of a is it in Into the Dark? No. What was that? It's kind of like interactive theater, I think is what they're doing. It's supposed to be like the graveyard but on a rooftop, and then the musical kind of takes place around you. I read is what it's supposed to be, but
What, for
um
cabaret?
no
Oh,
for Phantom of the Opera.
oh, okay.
They're because they said that they were closing it to restore the Majestic Theater, and at the same time I think they were restaging the West End production. And now what they're doing is they're marketing something I think they're calling Masquerade, something
Mm.
like that. There's been a lot of viral marketing for it, and like these people carrying huge like Venetian opera masks. So that could be interesting to see. But
So did you see the
I
Alan
just love it.
Cumming version of Cabaret? Like
Oh,
live?
okay. So I have seen two versions of Cabaret. I saw is it 2006 revival? I saw it with Raul Esparza and Molly
Oh,
Ringwald
I love Raul
as
Esparza
he was
so
great, but
much.
Molly Ringwald as Sally Bowles was surprisingly one of the best things I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because we also had really good seats because I had to watch it as like part of a class, so they got us front row tickets. So you could just like see everything her body was doing while she was singing, and she was so good at it. Like I really love the character Sally Bowles. I love the story that Cabaret is telling, and how queer it is.
Oh
Um, but the music is also really
yeah.
it it's so sad,
Oh, it
but
is.
it does something for me. And there are like songs that even like from the original Broadway production have been kind of taken in and out, and some have been made for were made for the movie in the 70s, and kind of rejigged. But I feel like every interpretation of it that I've seen has always had this kind of dingy darkness to it, and I like that they've always kept it that way. Um, and then the second time we saw it, Robert took me for like my birthday or something, and we saw it with Alan Cumming and Michelle Williams, and that I was upset that that was the first time that Robert was seeing Cabaret, because I don't think that they should let Michelle Williams near Broadway at all. I was angry. It was as if
Oh, was this Dawson's Creek Michelle Williams? Yeah.
Yes.
right. I never saw
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek, but yeah, her.
Yeah.
Um, it was just bad. She was bad. Everybody else around her was great, but that's what made it so terrible, because it was as if she was doing an impression of Liza Minnelli doing Sally Bowles as Katharine Hepburn.
Hmm.
It was this like warbly, like geriatric
Could she
sounding
hit
voice
the
that like
notes?
no.
Oh
No,
God, no,
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 that
no.
she would look stiff, and she didn't paint her nails green, which is like,
That was a big sticking point for you.
yes, it's part of like the character, and I think that it Cabaret is very much about the visuals, and there are all these little details that you're
Oh
supposed to
yeah.
pay attention to, and that's a really important one because it's kind of grotesque. Like Cabaret to me, it's
It's
about decay
supposed to
and
be
rot.
grotesque.
Yeah, and you're at the end
Yeah.
of like the Weimar era in Berlin, and World War II is on its way. Like I think there has to be that grittiness and that darkness to it.
I just would
All
have
that,
never noticed the thing about her nails, and unless you had pointed it, because you pointed it out
yeah,
as one of the. I was like, she sounded like she was doing impersonation of Liza, but if Liza was on like a train, uh,
yes,
because it was like there was a lot of shaking to it for whatever reason.
mm-hmm.
Um, uh, but you pointing out the thing about the nails, I was like, I would not have even put that together, especially
Well,
from where we were seated, because we were so far from the
mhm.
stage. I wouldn't even
she
known if she had nail polish on
she
or wig
had her
on.
nails painted a color, and that because like she's moving her hands a lot, and so they were not green. I don't know if they were red or not
This is
painted, but
this is my husband noticing the details that I would never notice.
it's
That's
something that I had to really immerse myself in for school, but I also enjoyed it, so I like I read up a lot about it. I saw a lot of different productions of it, recorded and things like that.
We
And
had a
then we
similar
also,
we had a similar project with Chicago when I was in high school.
yeah,
I
and we
think
got to
you
interview Rob
guys.
Marshall, which was really interesting.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel, I think you and Rob should go see the new one because I was worried seeing it because I saw it on the Tonys last year. The
Hmm.
best thing that show did was get rid of Eddie Redmayne because every single MC since him has gotten like rave reviews, and I
Oh,
saw it
good.
with Orville Peck. He was incredible
Hmm.
in it. I was like, and I'm not an Orville Peck fan, and I thought he was incredible. Um,
We've been talking about going to see the new
yeah,
Cabaret
you can find
Yeah.
it
recently.
on that app of mine.
Yes.
It's available. But I loved the immersiveness of it because it still kept the grittiness that you talked
Hmm.
about, but gave it like that immersive like feeling. So like literally, you have to go through all of that before you get to the seat. And
Oh, that's interesting.
any seat in the theater for this show, the way they staged it is good. I was in the last row, because it's in the round, actually.
Hmm. Oh,
It's in the
is it really?
I was
yes, the
I was gonna
stage is
ask
in the
you,
round.
is this where the Imelda Marcos musical was? Just out of curiosity.
Studio 54, probably.
I don't know. The musical that was about the Marcos family that
Yeah,
closed.
I think
Because
it's
it looks like the same setup. That's the only reason I'm asking.
yeah. Although they don't allow anyone to stand around the stage. Every seat,
Mm.
the Mel DeMarcos one, you could have gotten tickets for standing because it
Hmm.
was like a club type show. This
Right.
one is they keep the regular, like they gutted the that theater and added like in the round seats, but also kept those normal seats as well, like a regular theater.
Oh.
And the acting is all done in this circle, and it's really great. Marsha's incredible in it. She also is the understudy for the MC.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
the whole company was excellent. And so, yeah, from the moment you walk in, you experience everything. And then they have like dinner theater for it as well if you're like into that. Like I was just happy with like just being like yeah, like it's so intimate feeling that like any seat in that theater, the way they've designed it now feels good, and because like it's all done like literally in a
Mhm.
round, so I would give it a chance. um
Hmm.
Ava, so it's the girl who is in Hades Town right now.
Yes.
Ava Noblisada, she sings Sally very well. What I've heard is that she keeps calling out right now.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay. Well,
but you may get a really good understudy. I don't know. I think because she went from she has not taken a break in 3 years. She's gone from show to show to show, and I guess that cabaret, like Sally Bowles, can be a very demanding role.
Mhm.
So she's been like having a lot of like voice issues. So it's no
Oof.
excuse, but because she signed up for it, she didn't take a
yeah.
break. But just be prepared for that. If you go to see it,
Mhm.
you may not get her. But Orville's been at every show.
I want to say, wasn't she the girl who didn't she oh my God. Oh no, sorry. It was the person who originated the role of Sally in this production is Janice Ian from the Mean Girls musical,
Oh no, it
like
was
the
someone
original.
even before her. The one who was
Oh,
with
okay.
Eddie was, I forget who it was that was opposite Eddie, but Janice Ian,
That was for
Auli,
Adam Lambert.
yeah, Auli
Okay.
Cravajo, she was the last Sally Bowles, yeah. Who was also Moana, the voice of the singing Moana,
Oh.
Oh, I
is
didn't know that.
Auli, yes, is Janice Ian. But we'll see. There's been
Yeah.
rumors that Miley Cyrus might take the role in the
Oh goodness.
summer.
Then the
Uh,
tickets are going to be impossible to get.
yeah, so get it
Yeah.
before that
That could
happens.
be really good though. Oh, I could see that. That might be fun. I just
Yeah.
when I saw like the previews of it and and like the photos of the staging, I was just like, oh no, why does everybody look like a dressed up baby? I had a really, I mean, I had such a negative reaction to it because I was like, it doesn't look dark or monochromatic or like,
It's a
you
different
know,
kind of
It's a
grotesque.
different kind
I
of
know,
grotesque, and
I
it
know.
works for this production. Um,
It's almost like carny grotesque, like
yes.
Oh
carnival,
yeah.
like
Miley
freak
might.
show in a
I'd
way.
rather see Miley in this than see her tour this album. Bloop.
Oops. I have not listened
I
yet.
haven't listened yet either.
I'm
Yeah,
Well, damn.
excited to though, I think. I don't know.
I'm not a fan so far, but
Oh.
What's your number one musical toss?
it's Rent, of course. Rent will always be my number one because I have really fond memories of like that show. It's not the first musical I've ever seen, but it was like it is a very specific time in my life that I fell in love with that show, and like I was a Rent head at that time. I like waited in the line when it was like at its height. I've seen it at least 8 times. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I've seen so many stunt castings of it, and like remember when like the movie was such a huge deal, and then we were like, oh, this is not as good as we hoped.
But we
But
still
then,
went to see it like 4 times opening
yeah,
weekend because it just happened to be your birthday weekend.
I really liked the staged filmed version though.
Yeah, that's okay. That scratches the itch sometimes.
I did not
It's
enjoy the one with Valentina.
Oh.
I mean, that one was not great. However, I almost said Ashley Tisdale. That's not who was in that show. Vanessa Hudgens
Oh god.
was spectacular. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, she
for
was so
all the
good.
nonsense surrounding that particular production, she was
Yeah,
phenomenal and I was the bar was on the floor for her.
she was very
Um
good. Was
I
it
do think it's
Corbin Blue
interesting.
in that? Was it Corbin Blue or was it someone else?
I don't really remember the other people now that you're saying it. But it could have been Corbin Blue.
I
That would be
remember
interesting to have the two of them
I
reuniting,
remember it was a POC
right?
mark, but I forget who it was. It was a POC
Yeah.
mark.
Yeah, they were in High School Musical together, those
They
two. Yeah.
were, yes.
I will always think of Corbin Blue from In the Heights because he
Yeah.
was getting ready when my ex was working on the show. He was getting ready to come in as Uznavi, and they invited him to the Christmas party. And I just remember him sitting at the head of the table and people offering him food. It just like it was a very funny, like trying to puff him up kind of situation, which I thought was interesting because I remember thinking like the guy from High School Musical, like that's who we're wooing right now. Interesting. Um, uh, stunt casting. Who have you seen in Rent? Stunt cast.
Mel B.
Same.
Uh,
I think we all have that in common, maybe. Right? Did you see Mel
yeah.
B, Daniel?
I don't remember now.
Oh, you would
Oh
remember.
damn. I
It
don't
was
I
it
don't
was
think so.
it was memorable both for the bad singing, but also I think that's it.
I have
Uh,
my ticket around there somewhere. I have to
she
I
was
don't even remember
she
when
was
I went to see it.
who else
she was
did we?
struggling to make noise from her
Oh,
mouth the night that I saw her. So,
oh no.
but
Uh,
it was still amazing. I'm so glad that I got to see her.
I saw what's his name as
J-
Angel though.
Jay Rodriguez because they
Saw
were in
Jay,
they were in it at the same time. I also
but I
saw him.
also saw the other Angel, the original Angel, when he came back for a while.
Oh.
What's his name? He's in Noah's
Wilson.
Ark. Wilson, yeah, and I was like, he's
Wait,
in Noah's Ark.
is it Wilson Cruz or is it
Yes,
Wilson?
Wilson
No,
Cruz.
it's Wilson Germain Heredia. It's a different Wilson.
Oh no, but
I'm
Wilson
pretty
Cruz
sure.
was in it too.
Really?
Oh.
Was in wait, we're talking about Rent, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Wilson Cruz was in Rent as well as
Oh, okay.
Angel,
But I
but
think
not.
the original Angel is Wilson Germain Heredia.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Who
Um,
else?
who did I saw someone. Well, okay, Jay Rodriguez was phenomenal. You could tell
Yeah,
that he was because I feel like the playing Angel was kind of on a particular track at that point, and it was kind of predictable, and he was coming in and making different choices than
Yeah.
at least the Angel I had seen before I saw
Yeah.
it with Jay Rodriguez.
I saw Neil Patrick Harris as Mark at one point.
I didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
Daniel, did you see any stunt casters when you saw Rent?
I don't remember, honestly.
You'd
That's
remember.
terrible.
So yeah.
I don't think so. We saw it in 2004. I don't remember. I honestly don't.
Did you
I'm
see
saying, like,
Hedwig with Neil Patrick Harris?
no,
Did
we
you
saw it with
see
John.
that?
We saw it with John Cameron Mitchell.
Oh, I saw
Mhm.
it, but that one too.
Yeah.
That's another one I watched like all three versions. Saw it with Neil, saw it with Darren Chris, and then saw it with John Cameron.
Oh, so nothing for Tay Diggs then?
I
No
didn't
flowers
see
for
the
Tay Diggs?
I didn't see the Tay Diggs version. Uh,
Because you
I
said it like those were the only 3 Hedwigs.
oh, I
Like,
don't. I totally forgot Tay Diggs was in
there
it.
were more. There were so many more.
Was Adam Lambert in it too?
No,
Uh,
I don't think so.
I still have the
Uh,
poster.
work.
Oh wow.
I
I
think
love
this
it.
is Neil. Yeah, this is Neil. Uh,
Wow.
I'm gonna tell a shady story from when we saw Hedwig, just because it's fun. So we saw Hedwig with Mimi on first, and yes, so we have friends who are friends with Mimi on first, and we went to dinner beforehand, and Mimi was bragging about how she's friends with John. That's how she was referring to John Cameron Mitchell, and so she was expecting because Hedwig brings someone up on stage every night.
yeah.
And so she was expecting to be the person brought up on stage. And then it ended up being our friend's husband instead. And we were sitting, so our seats were like, we were in different parts of the theater, but Daniel and I were seated like in the back of the house, but still in the orchestra. And so I could see Mimi's back and how she was kind of like squirming and like really fidgeting and like kind of angry after our friend's husband was chosen instead of her to come up on stage. And it was kind of delicious to be able to like get a panorama of the drama. So yeah, that was a good time.
That's so funny.
Let's talk about dream revivals. I'll give one just to wrap up the episode. Mine is Mame. Still waiting for it.
Mm.
Anyone else?
Yours is Aida, right, Daniel? Or do you have another
Yeah.
one?
Well, Aida, and I really would like Phantom back. I know it just left, but like I want it back for comfort, you know.
He's coming back.
But I would love Aida. That would just be so much fun. Yeah.
Mine would be Assassins. I really like. I just saw the off-Broadway version revival of it, but I would love a. I'm a big Sondheim fan, but I really like Assassins because I think it's such a like brilliant. It was one of his last ones too, and it was just such a skewering of American politics, but in like a brilliant way. The original had like Mario Cantone in it, Neil Patrick Harris, so many good songs. The song that was in The Politician, that was from Assassins. The one that Ben Platt sings with the other girl, about like the guy John Hinckley who shot Reagan, and because he did it for Jodie Foster. It was like such an insane song. It became like a ballad, and it's like I love that
So weird.
soundtrack. It's such a weird show, but like smart at the same time. I would love that as back.
When we were done watching Liza with a Z, naturally we started watching Mario Cantone videos of him impersonating Liza, as one does. And we found an interview on the Rosie O'Donnell show, where he was on right after they had to close. I guess there was some drama with Assassins when they did it originally, and they had to close it for some reason. And so it's interesting that you you picked
Yeah.
that when we were just watching that interview about him
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the guy from Next to Normal was in the revival of it as well. That they just did off Broadway, which is really good. It sold out its run. It was only like 6 weeks. Um,
I
yeah.
know nothing about Assassins.
I
And
I would try and find a version of it online and see what you think. A good version of it. The one that they just did like off Broadway was very good. It was very like the staging was very carny as well, but like carny from the viewpoint of the carny and not the freaks. And like they made American politics very like the analogy was very carnival, and like
Yeah.
brilliant way to like talk about American politics,
Eh.
especially right now. Um,
I'm
but yeah,
excited for Starlight Express to come back, so I'm waiting for that.
ooh, that would be
Yeah.
a great. Is that your
Yeah.
choice? And Mame?
Oh no, Mame is my choice. Mame has
Okay.
been my choice since I saw the movie version.
Yeah.
I want because I love the movie version, and it is my understanding that most people hate it because of Lucille Ball's performance, and I get it, but it's what I have. Because the bootleg with Angela Lansbury is really hard to watch because it's like, you know, from when
Who do you think should
home
play Mame?
video cameras were first made. Who should play Mame?
Stephanie
I'm
Germanotta.
I'm the wrong person. I'm the wrong
Mm.
person to ask. I'm so sorry. I'm the wrong person to ask.
There
Catherine
was
Zeta-Jones.
there was a list
I don't
of
know.
like there was a list of like shows that I think it was Rolling Stone or one of those that said shows that Gaga should perform if she ever did a musical that was not original, and Mame was on that.
Oh, Gaga could sell the shit out of Mame. I want like a Christine Baranski type. I want like, or an
Mhm.
Allison Janney. I want someone who kind of wears their wisdom on their sleeve in a way,
Yeah.
because that's who Mame is.
Mhm.
So I think that it makes sense for the actor playing Mame to be someone who is charming and wise, and then we need a good Vera who is witty and cutting, a lot like how B. Arthur was, because B. Arthur was just perfect. It's almost
Yeah.
like that role was written for her, and I don't know the history of the show. Maybe it was, but it's so good. But I'm not the right person to cast Mame Dennis. It's not.
Oh
I'm the
yeah.
wrong one.
Yeah.
Or Gooch. Agnes Gooch is my other favorite character from that show, and so I don't know who. But I think it would be fun to pick someone who is naturally beautiful and do a kind of she's all that, because I mean that's
Yeah.
what ends up happening to Agnes. So, yeah, I think that would be good. And someone obviously gay to play the little kid. I forget his name, but
Patrick?
Patrick, to play Patrick Dennis, especially as an
Mhm.
adult.
Oh my god, yes. Yep.
Give me a very, very, very obviously gay Patrick Dennis as an
Mhm.
adult, please. Yeah. So that wraps up our Broadway episode. Enjoy the Tonys. I know that we will. And be sure to like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about our Broadway picks. What are your Broadway picks? And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.